Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of What's Happening Now with CNI Solutions. As always, remember to like, share, and comment on this broadcast live, as there could be some information not only useful to yourself, but probably useful to others. Tonight's broadcast is being brought to us by Hello Guest Screen. Hello Guest Screen offers an easy way to personalize your Airbnb properties, TV screens with custom images and dynamic calendar-driven guest information with all essential information for upon arrival. I tell you what, not only is Hello Guest Screen great for that, but it has been great for a lot of other things. A lot of small businesses have also been using Hello Guest Screen, and I think that's awesome. Also, don't keep in mind, we do have our upcoming 7 and 7 community baby shower. We are still accepting donations for those who want to participate and help donate for this community baby shower that we are hosting for all those pregnant women and postpartum women who are 7 and 7. Please do not forget to do that. All right. So we have in the studio with us tonight a very talented young lady, I will say. She is an author. She is a coach. She's just an all-around entrepreneur. We have Miss MaYaSpeaks. MaYa, welcome.
Hello. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good, good. So, MaYa, tell us a little bit about what is MaYaSpeaks?
MaYaSpeaks is the business. MaYa Thornton is my name, and I have MaYaSpeaks, a response to the public who is now interested in plant-based living, healthy living. People are hearing and knowing they can be healthy. And diet has a lot to do with it. So our focus is that in several different ways. We've been doing it for several years now.
Well, I know for a fact, you and I, we've had conversations in the past in regards to healthy living and dieting, because, you know, and we're going to get to one of your books that you have that kind of inspired me a little bit. But, you know, being part of this movement, this is a growing movement, is it not? This isn't just something that's a trend. It's becoming plant-based living. It's becoming something more and more popular, and not only more and more popular, it's actually becoming more popular amongst African American. Is that so?
It is so true. I am very thankful. About 20 years ago, when I owned a health food store, the statistic was only 2 to 3% of America was considered vegetarian at that time. That's the language I remember before I started hearing vegan and plant-based and whole food plant-based. Okay, so the numbers were just that low. 2-3% were vegetarian. And the way it is now, it's already growing to over or towards 10%. Being interested in plant-based living. And then, so yes, it's such a movement. It's popular, and people have several different reasons for why they're choosing it. So I've learned that much listening to people.
Okay, so you know, let's talk a little bit about this book. You know, you got this book out here, and I know our audience and the viewers are excited about it. I'm excited about it. You talk about it. You says diet can cause it, and diet can cure it. What does that actually mean? Tell us exactly what that means.
Wow, it means that if the condition of our wellness and or our health and or the condition to which disease is present and developing or entering into advanced phases, that where diet is largely responsible for these common chronic diseases that either we have or we all know people and love people that are sick with something. It wouldn't matter if it's asthma, Alzheimer's, ADD, and those only begin with A. But if you go through diseases of the brain, the throat, the eyes, the upper cavity, chest and breast area, digestive tract. We would then enter into liver, spleen, pancreas, kidney. A little lower, we would enter into colon and reproductive. I skipped heart. But surely, for everyone you know who's dealing with respiratory or heart conditions or bone conditions or hormonal imbalance conditions, and the list is as long, it's very long. Matter of fact, I put a listing in here, it's nearly 3 pages. So almost everything we can think of is affected by diet. Therefore, title of the book, since diet is the reason the condition got to develop, then for sure, a change of diet and improvement is the reason for cure.
Okay, I like that.
Or restoring health. The subtitle, you can improve your health on a plant-based diet.
Okay, all right. So, before I get into my journey and talking about the plant-based thing, somebody who's like Brittany, and Brittany's there, and she's not so in tune with plant-based. How does someone help her understand how her diet can change and make her healthier by changing that diet?
It is a on-point question, Charles. Brittany, just comment for the listeners, your position, whether it's like resistance, turned off, or curious, or denial, or whatever.
Not necessarily that I'm in denial or anything. We've tried plant-based before, but I think it was more of the mental mindset of knowing that it's not real meat for me that kind of just made me go, yeah, now I think I'm just gonna watch out for how I eat certain things and how much I eat certain things versus changing completely over to plant-based.
Brittany, you see me smiling because I am loving how you nailed it. People's mindset, people's concept is plant-based is defined by whether instead of meat, almost a perfect substitute is available. Almost perfect. Perfect in look, texture, and they are mastering taste. I'm here to say, Charles, that is a misconception of plant-based. Again, such language as, plant-based this and vegan and vegetarian this, it's in our language now. I don't remember it when I was in childhood or early adulthood. And then ever since the creator created Adam and Eve started plant-based. So therefore, for the entire history of the planet, people were eating plant-based, except now lately, we tend to think of it as a substitute for animal flesh. We don't have to go there. That's like in our brain, we can go from straight to the source, like God created every herb bearing seed, because he left us with a food supply, as he did animals. He left insects. He left us with a food supply. That is plant-based.
Okay, so we got a question. We got a couple questions here for you. This one's coming from Miss Cranch. She says, "Are there ways that we have already started to evolve our soul food to address health concerns while maintaining its rich flavors?"
Absolutely, and I'll refer back to something out of my family in childhood. We had a regular family guest. My mother knew, let's just say the meal was spaghetti. My mother knew that here's the pasta, and here's a bowl with the spaghetti sauce and the hamburger, right? Ground beef. Also, here's the bowl, actually with the imitation.
Mhm.
So the questioner asks, are there ways it's evolving? I'm going to go somewhere else with this answer. But to finish this scenario about my family, the other bowl contained the spaghetti sauce, but it was that imitation
Mhm.
meat. And so therefore the guests couldn't tell the difference. Now I want to broaden it because I know a lot of people say where they're from could be an island or, you know, another continent, China, Africa, some other continents where people say we always did eat rice.
Mhm.
We always did eat sweet potato. We ate callaloo. You know, we always seasoned with ground nuts. You know, the flavor, the sauces, the curries, South Pacific as well as Caribbean as well as African. So you have many, many, many people who say we always did
Mhm.
eat chickpeas, garbanzo beans, and cabbage and spinach. And so when we African Americans are thinking about what is labeled traditional to us as soul food, we think macaroni and cheese.
Mhm.
Well, yes, because people are making so many delicious macaroni and cheeses with cheese substitutes. People are still doing sweet potatoes, almost as good as your grandma, right? Or better. So people are still doing greens.
Mhm.
You don't have to put oxtail or turkey or bacon in the greens. You understand? So picture this. Picture your Thanksgiving plate. Mashed potatoes, it might be there. Corn might be there. Corn on the cob might be there. Cornbread might be there. Stuffing, right? So mac and cheese, rolls. So if you picture all this food, you can say, well, I still have cornbread, that's soul food. I still have sweet potatoes, that's soul food. I still got mashed potatoes, that's soul food. I still got macaroni, that's soul food. And I love this dialogue because I believe this dialogue needs to happen. It needs to happen that we should identify exactly what pictures we have in our brain. We could also look in our refrigerator or in our shopping cart, and we can say, well, the rice is familiar, the potatoes are familiar, the cabbage is familiar, the salad is familiar, the cucumber, the tomatoes, the onions, they're familiar. And we don't have to think, it's so strange. I hope I answered.
Yeah, well, that's wow. I love that. I love that. You know, and we got another question from one of the viewers. You know, and let's go to the question, and I'm gonna go ahead and share my experience that I had and the road that I had when it comes to this healthy style of eating. So the viewer's asking. She says, any suggestions for those of us living in areas that have disparities in access to healthy food?
Suggestions. I grew up inner city, Philadelphia, and what was available to us were the corner stores. I really mean corner stores at the end of the block, and or some small grocery store or something that wasn't too far from a gas station grocery. I grew up in the inner city, and by the way, even famous people like Michelle Obama will speak about food deserts.
Mhm.
So it's very real that people may think Whole Foods is hardly accessible. So since I can speak out of where I grew up, our family always had beans. They're everywhere. Oatmeal, everywhere. Grits might not be in some places,
Right.
but cream of wheat, everywhere. Yes, it was heavy on the white potatoes, but sweet potatoes were there. Greens were there. Onions were there. So, again, if you're looking for fresh produce from a farm, a farmer's market, then say most of what I eat is going to be like this. You have to divorce your mind from since let's say I love chicken sandwich, so now I have to go out and find something that's made identical to chicken salad. No, you don't need something identical to chicken. You can just say, I flavored my food. You might like a dressing. I like a dressing. The mayonnaise that I use is a non-dairy, and most stores sell it. Most large stores sell it. So I'm here to encourage that if, and by the way, in my book, I have several things that make it very easy. One is a chart. I'll show you. I will show you this chart, which occupies 2 pages. The short list are the things we feel so focused on, like animals and animal byproducts like cheese, milk, butter, yogurt, eggs. So this is a short list of what we tend to focus on. We think my plate should have meat, and I should have sugar, and I should have eggs and oil. So that's a short list. But then when you start thinking of other things God made, let me show these 2 pages. I know it's too small to see. But in other words, there's 3/4 of a quantity of food we can eat rather than staying focused on just a few. So I have to name a few for the curious people. I'm going to do it this way. If you look at how plants grow underground, you can get beets and carrots and potatoes and onion and garlic and ginger and some other things that are underground, turnips. If you look above ground, you could see, the small plants, even bell peppers and green leafies. If you look at bushes, you'll be getting berries, nuts. If you look at tall stalks, you'll be getting okra and corn on the cob and Brussels sprouts. If you look at trees, you'll get nuts and fruits. And also, what is a tree going to give us? Maple syrup and some other things. And if you look at sprouting foods, you could take your beans or your broccoli and you can say, let me just kind of get, or almonds, let me get a little sprout out of this, because you've magnified the nutrition. So I hope that helps for people who feel it is very limited. Just don't think I have to find imitation animal.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't. So let this be of help to, there's so much more that's available to you. Can I return to, may I return?
Excuse me?
I was going to offer, may I return to something Brittany said? What I heard in that was motivation, because you asked me, how would I motivate a person who really is not attractive? And I hope that some of the things I've said about what's broad, what we like, is part of the answer. But a person may be motivated because they hate cruelty to animals. A person may be motivated because they know my health would be better. A person may be motivated because they're supporting somebody close to them, like so-and-so has cancer, and therefore I shaved my hair and I'm eating like she eats, my daughter, my granddaughter, my husband. A person may be motivated because of the sustainability that's happening with the planet. There is so much destruction, even to our ozone layer and our rainforests, simply because acreage, I mean, multiple thousands of good land use and pure water use, and even fresh air, which we humans need for our grandchildren. But this generation and this nation does not really have the right to say, ignore all that and to, just waste the water usage, land usage, and things that really affect us. So I've only named about 5 of people's motivations, but it could be health, and it could be, it's trendy. And athletes and celebrities are doing it. It's trendy. But whatever your motivation, if you say it's trendy, or my health, or save the planet, or save the animals, or philosophically, the Bible says every herb bearing seed. If no matter your reason, I personally celebrate that you have your reason for choosing something better for you and for the planet.
Right, right. You know, as I said earlier, you know, when we first started talking, you know, I got on my own personal challenge and diet challenge and dealing with plant-based and dealing with making a change and a difference. And one of the things that I said I wanted to do, I wanted to try it for at least 45 days to see if there was some validity to what everyone was saying when you stay away from eating meats and staying away from all those sugars and added sugars and stuff like that. So I did that, and I did that with some great results. When I got back to see my physician, a lot of my labs had dropped. You know, everything had went down just in that short period of me sustaining from eating meats, eating added sugars and all that. So I can personally say that it made a change in my health and in my diet by doing that. So I can't speak for everyone, but I know what it's done for me, and it's helped convince me to start making a change to whereas I want to get to the point where I'm going to be fully weaned off of any type of animal products, period, where I'm strictly going to be dealing with veganism as a whole. We got a couple comments here. I got a comment from Miss Kimberly Hoff. She says we could change how we cook, evolve from cooking like grandma and them did, but we can cook to live rather than cook to die. That is such a true statement there, but she says that. And you got another one here says there is a Black-owned farm that delivers fresh produce to your front door, and so does Oakwood Farms. So I guess you're meaning we're talking about here in Huntsville, Alabama. If you happen to know the name of that particular organization, that farm that delivers those things, Kim, go ahead and put it in. I do know of Henry Family Farms, who believes in growing healthy foods there in the Huntsville area as well. And I didn't think they deliver. I don't know if that's who you might be referring to. But MaYa, you know, you got a few books. You got another book I want to bring up, and I want us to talk about it. And I want you to, you know, give us some insight on this. So on this book, it's a 2-in-1 book. You got the cheat sheet, the vegan snack cheat sheet, and vegan at the barbecue. Exactly what are those? What are we looking at? What is that?
Vegan snap cheat sheet came because I had an invitation to speak to chefs on a podcast, and I knew I wanted and that invitation came because I was at an event where the event planner and his caterer said, we don't know what to feed plant-based people. Mm-hmm. And he said, I have 10 people here tonight who don't eat meat. And I couldn't think. And I said, and you need me? My job is to make it easy. And so that was the birth of Vegan Snap, because it's not complicated. So it's written for caterers and event planners, even chefs, to say, I can do this. Now, if you're a caterer, instead of saying, well, I don't know how to do that, and you're calculating, so what's that going to cost? And do I have twice the labor? And how much van space do I have? How much refrigerator space do I have? No. You can also prepare the same menu for both plant-based eaters and people who want meatless. And it is not double the cost. I promise you. You will find it's not double the cost, it's not double the price, it's not double the labor, it's not double the cleanup. So that's why Vegan Snap was created. And my daughter is co-author on this. Her name is MaYa Thornton, and she added extra tips. So this is very helpful. You can fix for both in a snap. Vegan at the barbecue is the result of a lot of people's experience who we're invited to the football party. let me just tell the whole truth now. We're invited to the event, to the baby shower, to the Thanksgiving dinner. But this is going to be the answer, Charles, to what you asked. More and more people. It's a movement. So therefore, more and more people are saying, oh, but my gas is meatless.
Mm-hmm.
What do I fix? People will say, honey, do you eat chicken? Do you eat fish? What do you eat? Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you eat seafood or something like that? And so out of their love and their wanting to accommodate their guests, then, or the football party, as I heard on the radio recently, what am I going to serve the vegan eaters? We want more than kale.
Mm-hmm.
We want more than tofu. We want more than salad. And so what's in here, I'll flip a little bit, but you will see as many photos of food that I could fit in here. I know I've skipped plenty, sorry, but it's lots of regular food beyond salad of what you can fix, including many desserts. So Vegan at the Barbecue is so that you know how you can provide for this growing number of people. They would be your friends and family also, and yourself, as well as if I'm the guest in your house. How can I make it easy on you?
Absolutely.
So you're not stressed. How can I be the guest that shares instead of saying, well, I got my food is over here and it's just for me? No. I need to be able to join the fellowship of food is a term I coined on. That's what Vegan at the Barbecue is about. So we all could enjoy the fellowship of food without maybe feeling guilty or awkward. So these two books are a good partner. I put them together.
I tell you what, you mentioned something earlier and you said something about how you could prepare these meals and put them together in a snap, and it's not going to be a cost effective. It's not going to be more expensive, and it's not going to cost you a lot. But I got to tell you, I got to tell you, during my journey of those 40 days or so, it was hard because a lot of stuff was kind of costly to me. And in fact, we got a comment here from one of the viewers, and one of the viewers is saying it's so much more expensive to eat healthy, and eat healthy options aren't always available. It's kind of what one of the other guests were saying about that. So how do you address something like that when, people want to do right, they want to eat right, and when they go into the grocery store and they see that package of meatless, that vegan sausage is going to cost you $8 when that regular Bob Evans on the farms is only going to cost you $3. How do you address that? Because that was always one of my struggles. Besides the cost, the other struggle I had was putting meatless meals together to eat. How do you address that?
It's real, and it's perception as well as exposure, but it is real. So that's very common. And I'm going to direct you to many coaches and podcasters and people on YouTube who are showing you how to be on a whole food plant-based budget and to do it affordably. A long time ago, I decided that when I'm at the cash register, I hardly want to give the cashier more than about $35, $40. So personally, I eat quite good. I look at the shopping cart of the persons in front of me. I know what their bills are like. You do too. Lots of people are spending more than $100 a week, more than $150 a week. I see what's in their cart. I see what's in my cart. But I'm going to return to some of those basics. Like, I'll just say a bean burrito. Matter of fact, talk about cost. If I'm at the drive-up window of a franchise with Mexican food, my bean burrito is heavy and it makes me feel full, and it's delicious. It's hot, but I mean, it's beans.
Mm-hmm.
And the bean burrito used to cost 89 cents. Who remembers that? 99 or $1.19. It's bean burrito. But if I wanted meat on it, it costs more. If I wanted the chicken taco, it costs more. Now, if we're talking pizza, you may say, I love pizza. Mm-hmm. And you want the sauce, which has a little bit of oil on it. You want the crust, and then you want the toppings. So if you can have that topping if you're vegetarian and you say I'll eat the cheese. But if you're not vegetarian and you say I don't want the cheese, you can still top it with things. They put spinach on it. They do put if you say no thank you to the mozzarella, you can still have even without the fake meat. I'm just thinking beyond the fake meat. But people are still putting, I've seen avocado, I've seen pineapple, olives, those type of things. So you can say, well, I want this, but I'm not going to have that topping. So now it gets back to what you call normal, what you call attractive. So my recommendation is seek out the people and coaches who are plant-based, even the groups in Facebook. I must be a member of 15 groups on eating plant-based alone. That's out of the more than 50 groups I'm in. So lots of people are, I'm glad they're showing their pictures. I post pictures as well. But it's about exposure and being taught. As far as the financial costs, learn from me. I also do a coaching class called Age Well. I do that about twice a year. So you could reach me on Facebook, but you could reach me and say, well, when is your next coaching session? But I do teach people how to eat deliciously. And I think I'm going to finish with this because, people will say, I don't want to be hungry. I'd be hungry if I ate salad. Well, here's where I'm going to redirect your mind. I'm glad for this conversation, Charles. Redirect your mind. When I would go to a salad bar, and I still do. But when I was a child, the restaurant, which doesn't exist anymore, is Sizzler. But Sizzler was the first one I knew that had big salad bar. So on the salad bar, sure, there was like boiled egg. I used to eat them. Of course there were cheeses, but there were kidney beans. There's garbanzo beans. There's even green peas. There's sunflower seeds. There's sesame sticks. There's olives. There's beets. So if you have trouble thinking, what will fill me up? Go to a salad bar and a buffet. Even now there are restaurants which are all about salad. Go and you will see, sesame sticks, sunflower seeds. You might see, crushed, walnuts. So walnuts hold oil. Olives hold oil. Craisins and cranberry will give your body slow release. So some foods are quick release, and some like raisins, prunes, they're slow release. So you will not be hungry in 4 hours. So learn from a coach, learn from me, or learn from many others who can tell you how you won't be hungry. It will be affordable. You will have variety. Just do this one thing. Take that box in your mind that says it's about imitation meat and say, where did that message come from? That message is called a limiting belief because it limited you.
Okay, so I got a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
What would you say to those out here so I have a few friends that like when we get salads and stuff like that, oh, I'm not eating that rabbit food, or that's animal food, that's farm food. What's your advice for those who are limited themselves on vegetables and fruits in general because they feel it's animals food?
That would be a miseducation we got. And maybe we had, no, scratch the maybe. A lot of us had that in childhood. Well, we're adults now. And if we're into early 20s, which this message is more popular with our children than with us, 40 plus. So we had that. And, we thought it was rabbit food. And rabbits don't get diabetes. Did you notice?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if it is rabbit food, give it to me. Give it to me. But also, instead of naming it, just name it the Creator gave us. So that means a lot to me. It really does. Is that the Creator said, I gave you every. So I'm always preaching variety.
Mm-hmm.
Herb. He didn't say I gave you macaroni and waffles and cookies, muffins. He actually said, I gave you every herb. So even when I focused in on every, it broadened me, because before that, I would not have had a papaya.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have had coconut. I grew up with no avocado in sight. No, not one. I mean, there wasn't Dunkin' Donuts with a toasted avocado sandwich. Okay, Dunkin' Donuts, send me a check. But my point is, what limited us and kept us away from God's whole foods? You really could say to yourself, okay, we laughed at that. We mocked our friends, but did it serve them? And if I stay away from fresh green leafies, is it helping my body to say no to something so rich with restorative properties? You know, we hardly got into the conversation on, there's so much scientific, medical, clinical, double-blind, randomized studies for people who know the medical language. JAMA magazine, there's so much that is out there now. And Charles, if I have opportunity, I will be one voice sharing this with our community that maybe are not looking at the research or reading JAMA, because it's the Journal of American Medical Association.
Mm-hmm.
And Britain has one also. The point is, they know, but who's telling my best friend?
Right, right. And you know, I think that's key there. I think you're key there when you start talking about that, because it is about us sharing this information. And it's also about us changing that mindset, kind of like what Brittany just said. Well, I'm not eating that rabbit food. That's for, you know, the rabbits and the animals and berries. But once we could start to change that mindset of our people, then we could start changing our culture and start changing our health, and we could start living better and living longer. And I think that's important. You know, I want to touch on something that one of the viewers just said, and I wonder if you can answer to this. Okay, Kimberly says, she says, that's true, and it's set up that way because food is medicine. It's equivalent to or as purchasing medicine to heal. And we were talking about, she was referring back when we were talking about the price of eating healthy, where Miss Pamela said eating healthy costs so much and it's hard to find. Do you feel that the cost of eating plant-based food is high because they treat it like medicine? And if you really want it, if you want to get better, you want to pay the cost to get better? What is your thoughts on that?
There is speculation, which may easily be substantiated, of putting before a lot of us cheap food, which damages. Like, let's say a big bottle of Coca-Cola as opposed to 4 ounces of a good juice.
Mm-hmm.
Or it looks like some of those other good juices I referred you to. They cost $3, but people say, well, Kool-Aid, you know, a big sugar water with dye is cheaper. Well, yes, it is cheaper, but there is a cost which is more expensive than money, and it's called my ability to be healthy. I want my vision. I want my body to function. I don't want things to break down, shut down decades before they should. And so, on the juice thing, a lot of messages now are saying, make water your choice. So you can disregard a whole lot of other things in the shelves in the gas station and the
Mhm.
grocery store. You can ignore a lot of things and say, how about water? And you can say, well, maybe I don't need the fancy, let's say some expensive cheese or something, even a plant-based cheese. And you can say, well, what if I didn't have cheese? What if I learned to season it with seasonings?
Mhm.
Some seasonings are dry. We sprinkle and shake. Some you buy them in a little tube. They got flavor. Like there's salsa.
Mhm.
There's black bean dips, and there's guacamole, and there's herbs, mixed herbs. Even there's vegan pasta sauce. So you actually can say, well, I like this flavor. I like this curry. you know, curry sauce. I'll put my potatoes in this, or my vegetables in this. So you actually can have the flavor. So the things I'm mentioning here will be very clear to you when you come out of my coaching class, which is a series of sessions. You will say, I know how and I
Mhm.
know what to do. This includes desserts now, but you want flavor, you want to feel full, and you want to be well nourished. So please connect with somebody who can teach that. I enjoy teaching that. And by the way, you will get that in this book, Diet Can Cause It, Diet Can Cure It. You will also get it more thoroughly in Vegan at the Barbecue. Vegan Snap is a method to bring more plant-based foods into your everyday plate. And Vegan at the Barbecue actually teaches and deals a lot with the mind. I want to say that the third part of this deals with the mind, and the part 2 of this is all people's stories. Like you, Charles, many of them didn't find it easy,
Mhm.
but they made a commitment. They made a commitment, and they had a big enough why. They say if you have a big enough why, you'll figure out how. So if your why, Charles, you said that your medical numbers are better.
Mhm.
You have a big enough why, you probably won't sacrifice that again. Who prefers disease? Or you could say disease. Who prefers disease when you can have wellness? So I'm very thankful there's a movement. And like I said, I'm one voice, but I'm very thankful that it's popular. I want to thank you, Charles, for actually hosting this show on this subject with the points you're bringing up.
Okay, thank you. There's a few things. We had a couple of statements put out. I think Miss Shawana, she had put down here that you brought up Sizzler. She says, I miss Sizzlers. Yeah, we miss it too. I remember that very, very well. But Miss MaYa, you said something there that when you talked about eating like out of Sizzlers and the salads and stuff. I think we were always brought up that we had to have meat. There's been times I've made meals and even my kids said, well, where's the meat? Where's the meat at? What meat are we going to have today? Like this. And I think as we start to evolve, and as I know Kimberly said and Samantha said earlier, that we could start making those changes little by little, and we could start to make and craft a better life for ourselves. So I got a question for you all before we go. And those who are watching, please take time to share this broadcast with others out there who may need this information that Miss MaYa has and might want to get in contact with her to get that coaching opportunity that she does have. So I've been told several times, you get that peer pressure when you don't eat meat, especially by people who are around you, who've been around you for years, and they've always used to you eating those ribs and hamburgers and all that. And the day that you stop doing that, you get that peer pressure, and then you want to get labeled. Want to get that labeled. Oh, so you're one of them now, or you're that now. As someone who is a devoted vegan as yourself, do you find that a lot of people will treat you different?
Very much so, including some friends, some family. And that actually is a big part of where Vegan at the Barbecue came from. to make it very comfortable for everyday people, my friends, my family, people at my church, everyday people to be comfortable with. Some of us choose meat, some of us don't. My family was like that from my earliest years. There was always both on the table. So it was never a stigma. And I never even saw difficulty. I just always saw both meat and meatless on the table. So I'm very comfortable. I have no judgment. And for people who consider it, strange, and then people who genuinely wonder, are you going to get protein? And it's heartfelt. Like you said, we were taught. But but in here I speak of where protein comes from. It's been reviewed by highly scientific people who were willing to say, MaYa, this or that could be a little different, but they said, you know what? You say it so clearly, where and how we get protein. So be willing to own your commitment to your well-being. And for the children or youth that are under your influence, by the way, Vegan at the Barbecue does have some guidance in here for helping to steer youth that way. Babies will eat what you give them. If you say, here's avocado, they're just eating it. I've seen a mother put in her baby's mouth with a little bit of teeth. She carried a big bag of baby spinach all day to this conference. And the baby wanted some, she just get a baby spinach. I admired her because when my child was less than 2, I wasn't thinking, just carry spinach. But what we'll have is something full of sugar, and maybe we'll say oil, and we'll say meat, and we will say yummy, yummy, yummy. So you are taught that child, yummy, 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 and we have taught them. But I have seen people say, look with a face like this, like I don't think so, and they're like, you're gonna eat that lettuce? Well, if your body language and all your nonverbals are negative, and by the way, I'm going to refer to another person who was coming off of a meat diet so that he would not have the fearfully high numbers for his diabetes. But he used to sit there and say in public, I can't eat the good stuff. He was referring to the stuff that led to the diabetes, but the thinking. And out of his mouth, he said, I can't eat I'm just going to say macaroni and cheese just because right now my brain is not thinking of other. So I remember saying to him, you cannot badmouth the thing which is giving you your life back. Your sons want you to live. They don't want daddy to die. So you cannot badmouth the thing that is giving you life. It's our thinking. And I hope I've said enough there to say all we need to do is ask ourselves, what do we value? Do I value my wellness?
Right.
Do I value wellness for my child or people in my influence? Husband, wife, boyfriend, brother, sister, best friend? Do I value wellness for coworkers, my employees? Do I value wellness? Or will I bring to them, or every office party or Christmas party or church dinner, oh, I want to go some other places with that, where we eat, hospitals, business events. But thank God that lately with this movement and the awareness, there's more of a consciousness. Like even in hospitals, it used to be, you could visit the one you love who is in terrible, life-threatening shape. But then why would you visit that person, get on the elevator and go to the cafeteria, and what was available to you is the same thing that put that person in the hospital bed. So now, thank God, and I know some things was happening in the movement and in the nation and in the awareness, but now I can go to the hospital cafeteria. It's mandatory that they have choices for me.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Now
Wow.
it's mandatory. 10 years ago, that was not the law. So the only choice was that which created the problem. So now it's mandatory. You need to have more than French fries and nacho cheeses.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's not attracted to broccoli. So you ought to have some other entrees and choices.
All right. Wow. Hey, I appreciate that, MaYa. We appreciate you coming in this evening and sharing this information with us and our viewers. Viewers, those who have been watching, hey, we appreciate your guys' questions. You know, there's a lot to be said, and I know MaYa is full of information, and she's very intelligent and knows a lot about this information. So those who are looking to know more, you got vegan at the barbecue. And the cheat sheet there, you know, like this, you can get her books. It's a 2-in-1 book. I believe it's on Amazon as well. Is that correct, MaYa?
It's correct.
It is on Amazon. And then, of course, you also got her book, Diet Can Cause It, Diet Can Cure It. You can improve your health with a plant-based diet. MaYa, we appreciate you coming in this evening and taking this time. We wish you the best of luck and everything with your book and what's going on. And if there's anything that CNI Solutions can do to help assist you, please reach out to us, okay?
Appreciate that.
All right. Those who have been viewing, we appreciate that. Don't forget, we still got our big event still coming up here. We got the 7-7 baby shower that is going to be happening. We're still taking donations for that. That is going to be in May. So please make sure that you can do that. You can send donations to CNI Solutions at 1035 Putman Drive, Suite F. And we also have an actual QR code that's on that flyer for you to be able to use if you want to support and donate to our community baby shower. And always remember, your yesterday is not your today, and your today is not your tomorrow. Good night.